from the outside, having this break looks like the perfect time for you to put your stamp on the team. Are we reading too much into that, or will we be expecting to see a different team and a different style in December?
No, I don't think we need to see another team. I think also that there was a stamp in these first 4 weeks in the way of playing, and we continue with that. It's always people have big expectations about international weeks, that you, as a coach, you can do a lot of things with the players. People always forget that a lot of players are gone, and you cannot work with them because they have international duty. So it's also part of the job to bring them back in the story that we had before, because they had other ideas, other way of working these last 10 days. So that's also a part. So with one part of the group, we could fine-tune other things, physically, technically, tactically, mentally. We had some players who come out of injury also that we could work with, and we had some internationals gone. So there's a lot of diversity in that.
Philippe, you said that there were going to be a lot of players coming back from injury before the break. Where do we stand with that? Who's back? Who's going to be available for the weekend?
I'm going to touch wood, but I will talk now about who's out. It's a shorter list than who's back, so I hope to keep it that way. So Nico Raskin is still out, and Ryan Jack is doubtful. He's not out yet, but he's doubtful. And Kemarouf is starting to train parts of the week with the team. He did some full sessions. He had other days that he worked separately with the group, and all the rest trained normal.
So several players coming back in then. How big a boost can that be for your team into this weekend and into the rest of the season?
The important thing is we go now in a next series of games of 12 games in 37 days. So we're going to need a fit squad. We're going to need a large number of players to make a good rotation, to have every second that they're on the pitch that they can go 100%, that they can go maximum, because that's the kind of football we want to see with a high tempo. So it's going to be really important to keep everybody fit. And I told them this morning also, when I looked in this auditorium and they were in the places you are sitting now, almost all of them played already in these 7 games and these 4 weeks. So it's even 5 games more in the next series, and they all need to show that they're ready for that.
With more options available, do you expect the competitiveness of the squad to go up? Is that only natural when there are more options?
I've been quite satisfied about that. Like I told you, I've been satisfied about the level in the training, the focus, the concentration, the dedication. So that needs to continue. But I know also the first weeks with the new manager, it's always honeymoon. Everything is new and everybody is expecting the chance, and we start with a white page. Now we need to see also players who are not playing the first 2-3 games if they stay sharp.
When you came in, Philippe, it was obviously a busy period, games every 3 or 4 days. Have you also had, during this international break, the chance to just take a breath and step back and just assess, everything as a whole as well?
It's been different, but it's been the same amount of work, but in a different way, because you could do other things that you could do less in the busy weeks with all the games. Also, at that moment, everybody of all the departments come at your office that moment because they think you have a lot of time. And I could spend a little bit time with my wife also. So that I did last weekend. So that was also nice. So I have a lot of good points for the next couple of months.
Just looking at the match then at the weekend, obviously the last result against Aberdeen was not what the players of the club would have wanted. Are you able to still compare that match? Obviously a lot of things have changed since then, but can you use that almost as a motivation to the players?
No, I don't think it works that way. I never work that way. The past is the past, and every game has his own story. There are other players available now on both sides. It's an away game. that's not an advantage in that way. No, every game has its own story, and we need to focus on ourselves. And if we would have won this game with 6-0, it would not be a different preparation for me towards this game.
I guess you would have watched Aberdeen's last game before the international break at Celtic Park. What did you take from that game?
That it was not their best day. So I think it's not an advantage for us, because after a game like that, you always have a team who wants to react and players who want to react to show that they're better, and they are better also. They've showed this last couple of months.
On another note, there's been rumours and speculation of Ryan Kent perhaps coming back here in January on a loan deal. Could you tell us something about that, if there's anything to it?
I can tell something really important. For the next 2 months, I never go into rumours, because it's of no use to go into rumours. I will speak about players if they are in the building, because I've been out more than 30 years in football. So many things can happen before a player is in the building or out the building. It's of no use to talk about rumours with me, because I can only say things when they are realistic. And it's not about this case. I want to be clear about that. It's just in general for the next 2 months, for December and January.
Can I ask about a player that is in the building, that Ross McCausland, who's getting a lot of attention given the way he's been playing, now capped at international level? Are you making moves to try and extend his stay here? What can you tell us about that?
That we're talking with him about that, and I have a good feeling around that, but the same thing, it needs to be on paper first.
Is there are you aware of competition that are maybe talking or approaching him as well, that makes that more difficult?
What do you mean?
Are other teams involved in that process? Is he speaking to anyone else as well? Do you know?
No, I no idea about that, and that's always something for the player and his agent. But I've been very clear about Ross. I could have treated the situation in a different way, and first let him sign a contract before to let him play or to start. I didn't do that because I know how important Glasgow Rangers is for us. And after this game against Livingston and the good performance, he get also the international call. So that's also because he started the game. So I think we're on the right way, and I have totally trusted it's going to be a positive start.
Can I just a final one on Aberdeen? There's this notion going around that Aberdeen up their game, they try harder against Rangers. Are you aware of that? Do you agree with that in any way?
I cannot look back last months or last years how games were, but I don't believe in those things, to be honest. I cannot believe that players are more motivated for one game than for another game. For sure not where I'm a manager, because then the story will be very short for these players if they're not motivated for every game. So I'm focused on my players, what they have to do, and the rest is not important, it's irrelevant. We need to do our own things, we need to focus on ourselves, and I want players who are there every game. So I expect in other teams it's the same.
Philippe, just on the games coming up, the next spell, is it 12 games in 37 days, I think you said? Obviously you've made it a brilliant start, but do you expect the next set of games, these 12 games, to be a step up, given that you're going to have the League Cup final, the deciding games in the Europa League, away fixtures up at Pataudry, you'll go to Celtic Park, through to Edinburgh. Do you expect that your team have to step up again?
We have to step up. If we want to keep the same results, we have to step up. There's no other choice. It's also what I want. I don't want players who are satisfied and think that's their end level. I think in this group, with a lot of work and a lot of concentration, they still can grow a lot as a team and as individuals. And that's what they need to show now these next 7 weeks or 5 weeks, half, that they need to show. And it's going to be game by game. I hope we can win 12 games. That's my goal. Every time. I hope we can win the next 40 games. I want to win every time. But until now, I've been really disappointed about that. In my career, it never happened. So I know there will be bumps on the way. And we just need to focus now first on Aberdeen. I want that the players are only busy with that. And I speak about 12 games because I want that everybody understands that they're all going to be necessary to be ready, and it's not going to be with 11 or 14 players we can reach our goals.
Philippe, when you look at the options you've got in the middle of the pitch, if Nico Raskin and Ryan Jack are out, you spoke about making a puzzle for each game so far. What are your options like in the centre of midfield? Will it be another kind of puzzle to pick a partner for John Lundstrom up at Pittodrie on Sunday?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and another. But more, I guess, on the options that you have in that centre midfield. You've changed maybe the structure of the midfield. Does that impact when you're maybe looking at who you play in that centre midfield role on Sunday and beyond?
Yeah, of course, because it's another role than they played before, the role that Ryan was doing. So you need to look at other profiles. That's totally correct. So do we need to pick out of the senior ones who are fit, or do we need to pick out maybe one of the youngsters? We need to see.
And in terms of other midfield options, Rabi Matondo, someone who's coming back into the squad, I think you came across him when you were in Belgium. Mm-hmm. What does he give you as a kind of natural winger? We've seen you play with wingers since you come back into
the... Yeah, but he can play also central. And his best period in Belgium was like second striker, when they played with two strikers, where he had a lot of freedom. Rabi is somebody with, he's an electric player. He can eliminate fast 1 against 1 with his dribbles, with his actions, with his speed. So it's somebody really interesting to break open walls. But of course, he comes out of an injury and he was a long time out. So we cannot expect him to get his highest level from the first minute he plays. So it's going to be building with him also the next couple of weeks. But he's somebody who can give something extra for the team for sure.
Philippe, can I just ask, you've mentioned the new manager bounce. Is there an excitement for you in this next sort of period of games, and there are some big ones in there to see just how the squad react and because there is so much available to achieve in that short space of time?
No, for sure. It's been a really interesting first 4 weeks. I gave several challenges to the team, and every time they reacted really well. There were some challenges along the way also. If I think, for example, our game at Ibrox against Hearts, where we come back in the last 5 minutes, so the team reacted really well on a mental way also, and on a physical way, to score these 2 goals in 5 minutes totally at the end of the game, and been pushing all the time. So there will be more games like that next couple of weeks, where we need to be at our top, that we need to be strong in the head, in the legs, and together with good movement, with confidence, with changing players also, because creating these connections between players, this timing, the right runs together, the right work with and without ball, that everybody understands the story we want to do. So we're totally focused in that, with the players, with the staff, with everybody, also in trainings to create new connections between players, to change also a lot of those. If you do always with the same players, it's easier. In this period, we need to change, so everybody needs to be ready with each other to play, and every type has his specialities, his special qualities, so to create this connection, it's really important.
Can I just ask as well on Nico, just very quickly, you mentioned that you would have hoped he would have been back for this weekend. He's obviously not made it. Do you foresee that being a longer term thing, or do you think maybe he'll be back next couple of weeks or so?
Yeah, next couple of weeks for sure. It's not a long thing anymore, but he's not fit to. No, not ready with the team. Also, he didn't train with the team until now.